Let's go through the definition now. What exactly segmentation is, how it is defined. So segmentation is a process of dividing a market into different sections of customers who have common needs, features, and targeting them with distinct marketing mix. So you have to divide the market based on the customers. Now, when you take an example of bike, who has everything, who has all these segments. There is no company probably that is coming to my mind who is offering all this. Every company has a specific segment which they have chosen, and they want to specialize in that segment. You can't be master of all and jack of none. That's not possible in some cases. In some cases, you have to be very precise which is your segment. Now, if I ask you a question, which segment does it belongs to? Is it an entry level bike, or is it a sports bike, or is it a classic bike? Where does it fit in? And when you do a scrutiny of the portfolio of KTM, they are focused only on one segment. So which segment is that? Which segment do they belong to? Likewise, when I ask you about Royal Enfield, so Royal Enfield, which segment are they focusing on? Is it the executive bikes? Is it the cruisers? Is it the classic bikes? Where do they fit in? And what about Harley Davidson? And what about the other companies like Bajaj, TVS? Where do they fit in? So the question is, it's very difficult for a company to offer all the segments, but it's not impossible. There are companies, right, in the market who have all this in their portfolio. So when you look at companies like Honda, when you look at like companies like Yamaha, right, they have it all. But in India, they might not offer all the products, because in India, they might be focused only on certain segments based on certain parameters. You know what happened with Harley Davidson? They had to recently leave India because they did not find customers for their bikes, because their bikes were too expensive. So considering these factors also, marketers at times decide which one to launch and which one to avoid in a particular market. So Yamaha may have the entire range, Honda may have all this, but they're very specific what they want to launch in India and to focus only on that. So this is what segment is all about. Segment is the process of dividing your product portfolio and choosing the right one based on the sections of customer, right? So when we say entry level bikes, what does it mean? It means basically this is a bike which is appealing to those customers who have limited income and who want to transit from public transport to their private transport. Basically, these are economical in terms of pricing. They are affordable. So affordability is the crux of your entry level bikes. So how many millions of people are there in India who belong to this section? Because the definitions is dividing the market into sections of customers with common needs. So what is the need I've identified in this case? The need what I've identified in this case is affordability, reasonable pricing. So entry level bikes. And every bike maker in India wants to definitely have this in their product portfolio, because this is a very big market. Because by and large, India as a country, this is the most popular segment. There are many buyers in this segment. So most of the companies, even big companies like Honda, they have their own entry level bike. Even Yamaha, once upon a time, they had their own entry level bike. And of course, Bajaj, they are Indian companies, so they understand the market better than any other foreign company. So they have variety of entry level bikes. Honda has variety of entry level bikes. Hero has variety of entry level bikes, because this is a very big segment. By and large, most of the customer want to buy a bike which is very affordable for them, right? So this is the first category in terms of segmentation. Then you have executive bikes focused on those office goers. So people in cities, they want a bike which can easily maneuver in the bad roads, right? The kind of infrastructure what we have in Bangalore, terrible infrastructure. Roads are bad. There was a time when we used to avoid potholes when we were driving or riding bikes in Bangalore roads. Now we have to find where is the good road. Things have changed. Now we have to find in the potholes where is the right some section where the road is good. So that's how terrible the roads are these days. So this executive bike should offer both. It should be easy to maneuver in the city roads, in those potholes, traffic congestions. And on the other hand, it should also offer a good mileage. And most importantly, it should look also good. So you see there are too many things, too many expectations from executive bikes. Unlike the entry level bike where the expectation is simple, the pricing has to be cheap. But here there are little more expectations in this segment. So again, by and large, most of your bike makers do consider this as a plum. This is one of the major segments. So these two constitutes the major segment when it comes to bikes: entry level bikes and executive bikes. There is a mass market for these two categories of bikes. So any bike company that wants to venture into Indian market, or any Indian company for that matter, wants to start. And now this is the age of startups. And Bangalore is like maternity ward of startups. Every now and then there's one new startup being born in Bangalore. So whether you're a startup, whether you're a foreign company, or whether you're an Indian company, if you want to get into this segment, and if you want to quickly flourish, then you have to focus on these two categories, either entry level or executive. Then, of course, you have also cruiser bike, and companies like Bajaj. Even though cruiser bikes by and large they are expensive, but Bajaj has worked out on a concept where the cruiser bikes have now become a little more affordable. So that is also can be considered as a uniqueness, a USP, right? Because cruiser bikes by nature they are quite expensive, but Bajaj has turned out to be, uh, it has done some improvements. It has come up with a product which belongs to the cruiser bike segment, but it also an affordable bike. So this bike, in fact, got a good response. I'm not able to recall the model name, but yes, it did get a good response in the market. So this is the category, and this is where Harley Davidson specializes in, because most of their bikes are cruiser bikes. But unfortunately, because of the pricing, they could not sustain here in India, as I mentioned earlier. Then you have the cafe racers again, Harley Davidson, or whether it is your Triumph. They have wide range of cafe racer bikes. So there are some distinct differences between a cruiser, a cafe racer. Probably you can look into that after you finish your class. But yes, these are the different varieties. Then you have sports bike, then you have super sports bike, then you have premium super sports bikes. Now, when we say premium, obviously it is a niche market. That means you can't sell this to you know many people. You have to you're very clear that this segment caters only to few people, right? Few sections of the society. So definitely the pricing will be on the higher side. Then you have the classic vintage bikes. So there, in fact, in between there was a drastic change in the trend. People started liking classic bikes all of a sudden after Royal Enfield decided to relaunch its iconic Bullet. There was a shift in trend, and Royal Enfield was able to capitalize on that trend of people slowly diverting towards classic bikes. And by the time other companies could respond to the competition, it was a little late. Even though other companies like Mahindra launched Java in India, Honda also came up with its classic bike, but it was little too late by then. By then again, there was a change in the trend, and meanwhile, this pandemic also came in. So this is what segmentation is all about. So market segmentation is a process that companies use to divide large heterogeneous market into small markets that can be reached more efficiently and effectively with products and services that match unique needs. Right? So you have to basically scale down. So when we say market segment is like an ocean. So in that ocean, you have to be specific. What is that you want to focus on? Because if you're not focused, then it's quite challenging. You can't say that, okay, I want to capitalize on the entire ocean. So you have to be a little more specific. But of course, as I mentioned, there are companies who try to do that. So I did mention it to you, the list of categories and segments when it comes to bikes. But yes, some companies do uh, ensure that they have everything in their product portfolio. But some companies are very specific what they want to sell. So when you're doing segmentation, what are the benefits that you're going to get? The answer is one of the benefits, which is actually also the crux of marketing, is the satisfaction of customer needs. And it's not just satisfaction, you're precisely satisfying the customer needs. And that's what marketing is all about. That's what we started this subject with, by defining what marketing is, right? And marketing is all about understanding, identifying, and satisfying the needs of the customer. And that is what segmentation does. Because in segmentation, you're getting exactly the kind of product what you always wanted, right? I was giving you an example of shampoo. So I told you that people have different kind of hair, but yes, if they get the kind of product what they wanted, of course there will be complete satisfaction, right? And sometimes, if you're able to identify that segment which is being untouched, then you can probably capitalize on that untouched segment and make more and more money out of it. So sometimes it's very important that you choose a segment that is also not being captured by the other marketers. So if you do so, then what will happen? Customers will be very happy because they are getting the product what they always wanted for. So precision is what they want to get, right? So yes, now when it comes to your program also, you've chosen that you want to do BCom and you also want to do ACCA. So by combining these two different segments, one is the conventional degree in commerce, and the other one is a professional program which has a global appeal and which has a global orientation, ACCA. By combining both, you have created a new segment, and there are takers for this segments, and you all have chosen to take this segment, right? Some of you have personally chosen it, and for some, your parents chose it, and for some, you don't know how did you ended up taking this course. So unfortunately, we have such category of people also in the class. So nonetheless, right? But this is a segment. Most of the colleges now in Bangalore are following this segment. This segment has become popular, combining a professional course with a conventional degree. So this is how you have to create a segment that actually satisfy the needs of the customer precisely. And you get to make more profits also, because if your segment is quite unique and it is actually meeting the needs of the customers, then obviously the sales will be on the higher side and you get to make more money. You can allocate your resources more efficiently. So if you are an enterprise which is having a factory, so you can utilize your factory capacity output to best potential, to best possible way, because you can manufacture different set of products in the same factory in different shifts. So you don't have to keep your resources idle. You can channelize all your resources and make best possible use of those resources to ensure that you are actually making the product. For example, you have your news channels, right? Now if you want to start a news channel, you have to decide which segment you want to cater to. So how do you choose the segment? You can choose the segment based on language. So whether you want to, sell Hindi news, or whether you want English, or you can also decide your segment based on geographical area, whether you want to focus on Uttar Pradesh or whether you want to focus on Karnataka, which state. So that also can be a category. You can also segment based on the content, whether you want to show general news or whether you want to focus only on business news, right? How many of you are familiar with this channel called Vion, WION? Now, this seems to be a kind of a new segment which this channel has created, because generally we have channels that are focused on national news, and then you also have your international TV channel, news channels that projects the global news and events. But this channel, being an Indian channel, this channel is trying to focus and bring global news with an Indian perspective. So you see, this in itself is a new segment. So birth of a new segment, right? Now, if you're a media company, then obviously you can use your studio, your TV anchors, your news editors effectively, right? So you can utilize the same set of resources for different languages. The same studio can be used for different purposes. So the more segments you create, the better the utilization of resources is. It will also help you to retain customer, because customer, when he knows that he's getting what he wanted from your brand, from your company, why would he leave? Definitely he will become more loyal and he will stay with your company. And you also get to achieve the segment leadership. So the way once upon a time Maruti Suzuki became a segment leader in hatchback, small cars, right? Maruti was known for small cars. Even now, Maruti has the biggest range when it comes to small cars, hatchbacks. But now, unfortunately, this segment itself has become a segment in question, because more and more people are slowly getting inclined towards SUVs, sports utility vehicle. And we have new leaders coming up. So we have companies like Mahindra, companies like Kia, right? So these are the Hyundai, these are the companies which are more focusing on SUVs. Unfortunately, now since there is a change in trend from hatchback to SUVs, Maruti seems to have lost its charm. But anyways, but if you focus on the segment which the people want to buy, then definitely if you cater to those segment, you will become a segment leader. Then focused marketing communication. Now, when we say focused marketing communication, it basically means that you can design your promotional mix according to the segment what you have chosen. For example, if I have chosen health drink as a segment, now health drink can be in various forms, right? And one of the most popular health drink which most of the Indians are in love with for a very long time are malt based health drinks. And in this, of course, a very popular name that stands out and that has stood the time of test is Horlicks. Now, Horlicks, which the segment of Horlicks is health drink. Now, the moment you know that you're a company which is focusing on health drink, so you can design your marketing campaign based on that health aspect. So you can showcase in all your products, you can in all your promotional activities, in all your advertisement activities, the focus should be on health, creating awareness and communicating people that how beneficial your product is in terms of maintaining good health. But if you don't have a proper segment, then what is the focus? So segment gives you that focus that this is what you have to emphasize in your marketing communication, in your promotion and advertisements. So this is what segmentation is all about. And these are the ways in which you can segment the product. So you can segment the product based on demography. Now, demography is the study of population. So you can segment your product based on age. For example, are there products which are only for 0 to 5 years in the market? The answer is yes. There are so many baby products which focuses on that 0 to 5 segment, right? So products focused on gender, gender-based products, right? Family cycle product which targets the segment is based on married people, children, right? So these are options which you have. So you can probably recall if there are any companies who are segmenting their product based on education, based on income, based on family life cycle, based on gender, based on age. Age we can easily recall. Gender also, yes, of course, there are many products which are exclusively used by women, men. There also we can easily figure out the companies which are which are segmenting based on this. But education, what about education? Are they companies which says, okay, this their product can be used only by doctors, only by postgraduates? So we have to probably figure out. Now, this is an example for you. Fast Track, right? Now, even though Fast Track is also part of the Tata Group, Titan is also part of Tata Group. But what's the difference between Fast Track and Titan? Right now, the difference is very clear. The target market is urban, male, and female. And what is the demographic variable they have chosen out of all this, what we have listed? They have chosen age and gender. When it comes to Sikkim Manipal University, what is their demographic variable? Education. And who are their target customers? Busy working professionals. So they can do the program on Sundays or using online platform. HSBC has a product called Islamic Banking. And what is the demographic variable? The demographic variable is religion. And who are the target customers? Followers of Islam. Then you have Big Bazaar, which is into groceries. What is the demographic variable? Income. Because Big Bazaar claims that they give you the best price, which will help you to save a lot of money. And that's what middle class families want. They want a lot of savings. Audi. So needless to say who the target customers are. Right. So what is the demographic variable? Social class. Right. So this is how you should be doing your selection of segment based on demographic variable. Like this, there are plenty of variables. Then you also have behavioral segmentation. Now, when we say behavioral segmentation, this is based on product consumption related to behavior and can include frequency, volume, type of product. So certain products, the usage are determined by our behavior, our psychological needs, right? So based on that, how you perceive the attribute is what behavioral segmentation is all about. Now, there are certain sections of the people in the society who always think that if the price is higher, the quality is good. If the price is low, the quality is bad. So that is one of the behavioral perception what people have developed. So for such kind of people, you should be focused on quality, durability, performance, and of course, you can relate that to the price, right? So behavioral, when we say behavioral, it is basically a set of perceptions, and the behavior and the decision to buy or not to buy the product is driven by those perceptions. So if you understand those perceptions, you can easily create one segment. So these are the examples. Now, this table probably would definitely give you some perspective. This is for snacks. Now you see in snack itself, there are so many behaviors that are being exhibited by customers. Some people want a snack, but they want to ensure that it has the lowest calories and still gives them the kind of energy what they're looking for. So for those kind of people, we should offer a light snack. The segment is called light. And what are the examples? Yogurt, vegetables, and demographic characteristics, young, single. And what is the psychological characteristics? Somebody who is always into adventure. So we can segment a snack also based on all these variables. Then comes your segmentation on the basis of socio-economic perspective. So this is are the examples. Then you have the psychographics. So psychographic is a combination of psychological and behavioral perspective combined together. So personality, lifestyle, motivation, perception, all these are aspects of your psychographics. And there are examples for this. When we say Raymond, the slogan says the complete man. So this slogan gives us an indication that the product is purely targeting the personality type of the individual. When we say personality, again, it is pertaining to your psychological and behavioral aspect, personality of an individual. Likewise, you also have Mercedes Benz. Mercedes Benz, again, it try to targets on the basis of psychographics. So it speaks about the personality of individual who is, posh, elite, trend setting, enduring style, vitality, dynamism. All these are attributes of an individual. And L'Oreal, of course, a product which is more targeted towards women. So that's the user personality. Cross-cultural segmentation. So when we say cross-cultural, you're combining a lot of elements here. You're talking about the society, you're talking about the culture, you're talking about the value system. So all this combined together is what you call as cross-cultural segmentation. So you have cultures, religion, ethnicity, need motivation should not have come here, but anyways. So culture, religion, and ethnicity, these are the three aspects of cross-cultural segmentation. Then you have geographic segmentation. Brands want to segment based on the location. So how do you want to sell your product? Only in India or in villages, or only in those areas where the population density is high, or based on the temperature. So this is also a possible segmentation. Right? Now, once you're done with the segmentation, once you have decided what is the product that you want to sell, which segment the product belongs to, and you have narrowed down on your segment, right? For example, you want to sell bikes. Bike is a segment. In bikes, what do you want to sell? So you say, okay, I want to sell entry level bikes because entry level bike stocks, right, targets all those customers who are having basic income, who want to shift from public transport to their own transport. So once you have chosen the segment, right, now it's the time for you to, because I asked you that in the initial in the beginning, I said that you need to answer three questions as a part of your segmentation, targeting, and positioning analysis. The first question is, what exactly you want to sell? Second, to whom? To whom is what targeting is all about. To whom do you want to sell? So, who are you selling the entry level bikes? Can you sell entry level bikes in countries like Europe, in countries like America? Definitely not. America and Europe are not, first of all, major two-wheeler markets, and certainly entry-level bike is not their cup of tea. So definitely they are not the right markets. So entry-level bikes are targeted towards people who belong to lower middle class, people who have basic income. So you have to probably find countries where you can find this kind of population. So all your developing countries, whether it is India, whether it is Indonesia, whether it is China, Bangladesh, African countries, a lot of African countries, this is where you will find your customers for your bike, for the segment what you have chosen. So once you have chosen the segment, right, next you have to figure out to whom do you want to sell it to. And that is what targeting is all about. And what happens when you don't select the right type of customers? The answer is disaster can happen because you can't make a product and say that, okay, I can sell this product to anybody. There are companies who make such mistakes. They come up with product and they say, okay, this can be sold to everybody and anybody. So that should not happen. You should, first of all, you should choose your segment more precisely. And after choosing your segment more precisely, you should know who are the buyers of that segment, what you have chosen for. So both are important. Segmentation is also important. Targeting is also important. What you're selling and to whom you want to sell. Both should match. If both doesn't match, disaster will happen. Something.